Boko Haram on the rampage earlier this year in northeast Nigeria. For the past week, the Islamist extremists have been terrorizing villages in Gwoza near the Cameroonian border. There are reports of hundreds dead. Nigeria's military flying over the Sambisa forest, where Boko Haram has bases. It's where the more than 200 schoolgirls were initially taken after being abducted 8 weeks ago. This is what remains of their boarding school. The girls are still missing.
Overnight, more bloodshed on both sides of the Israel-Gaza border. Close to 600 Palestinians killed, some of those victims targeted last night in raids like this one in Gaza City. On the other side, at least 27 Israeli soldiers now dead. Despite the rising death toll, Israel is pushing ahead with Operation Protective Edge.
Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko called the downing of a Malaysian Airlines passenger plane in his country's airspace an act of terrorism. Officials say the plane carrying 295 was shot down.
The United States will offer any assistance we can to help determine what happened and why.
He enters this hotel conference room in Hartford, Connecticut with a security team that rivals a head of state. He is 60-year-old Jose Luis de Jesus Miranda from Puerto Rico.
I'm Jesus Christ's man, in front of you.
That's right, he says he is the second coming. From Hartford to his headquarters in Miami, he says there are more than 30 teaching centers nationwide.
Good morning, Robin. The Texas governor is putting more eyes and more guns on the border, but the Border Patrol says they're not needed because federal law prohibits the military from enforcing civilian laws.
This morning, National Guard troops are on orders to mobilize, preparing to head to the southern border for what Texas Governor Rick Perry is calling Operation Strong Safety, with a hefty price tag of $12 million per month.
And this is my second earthquake update today. Okay, this is just over the last 24 hours. There's another 4.4 struck here in central Oklahoma. Also, Yellowstone. 4.8 originally started out as a 5.0, and then you can see the swarm still occurring in Southern California as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you also the earthquakes now over the last 7 days in the same region. These are going to be earthquakes that could possibly be felt by people, actually. They're not just little small earthquakes. This lets you know, be aware along the edge of the North American Craton, specifically now in silent areas where we haven't seen much movement. Some compensation is going to have to occur. This is a vast area that is being displaced. I cannot stress this enough at this point. But with this kind of buildup that's occurring, we have to be aware that it could occur. And it most likely will occur now in an area that's been silent recently. Just have a plan, be ready for it. If it never comes, you'll be lucky.
There are a number of would-be messiahs who claim exactly that, and few are more physically convincing than a former Russian traffic cop named Sergei Torop. In the woods of rural Siberia, he is known as Vissarion, the teacher, and around 5,000 disciples live around him, growing their own food and feasting on his every word. Meanwhile, in London, David Shaler says he is the true Lord of Lords, but unlike Vissarion, no one believes him.
That doesn't bother me because I was chosen by God.
The former British intelligence agent says his body was filled with the Spirit of Jesus in 2007, a conviction which intensifies on a visit to Jerusalem.
We're in the Church Holy Sepulchre, and this behind me is supposed to be the tomb of Christ. Well, I'm Christ, and I'm not in the tomb, I'm not dead yet.
Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, the most successful of the world's self-labeled saviors.
The official coming of the Son of God was in April 13, 2005.
He was an obscure evangelist from the rural Philippines until 2005, when he announced that God had appointed him Christ on earth, his reward for a pure life.
Sinful thoughts, anger, lust, any of those things, you don't experience those on a daily basis?
As a human being?
Yes.
I have already overcome all of those.
Quiboloy's ministry has exploded. He claims to reach 6 million followers with his satellite TV network, numerous publications, private jet, and personal helicopter.
I'm not trying to con people. I am speaking the truth.
Do you think you're Jesus?
Jesus? Sorry?
Are you Jesus?
I am Jesus, yes.
No, you're not.
I'm Bill Weir for Nightline in Davao, Philippines.
Can we have some quiet?